No Nation. Welcome back to another episode of the FSU Voice of College Football post-game show with yours truly, George from the Renegade Report. Guys, I've been trying to not be too negative, and we haven't done a ton of shows with the bye week. With so many losses, there's only so many times you can beat a dead horse. You hope to see some positives you can take out of each game, and you hope coming off a bye week up against a Duke team that you had never lost before. Previously, 22-0 against Duke, another streak to bite the dust. Duke moves to 1-20, 1-22 versus the Florida State Seminoles. See a lot of people in there wanting to paint a bright light on what Luke Cromahawk came in and did. And yeah, I made a tweet about it. You could see the real difference in the arm talent there. The 2 or 3 deep balls, I think it was 3 different deep balls he hit that were perfect throws. One to Portier, one to Hakeem, and another one on the sideline, maybe to Benson, that got dropped. And those were the 3 times he really pulled the trigger. Other than that, he kind of looked like a freshman out there. He made a couple athletic plays. But, the switching the quarterback call that Mike made, I had no problem with that. It could have got us momentum. It could have really done something if the wide receivers would have caught the ball. 2 seniors out there in Benson and Portier making the drops. One for a straight-up touchdown, another one that would have been big on a drive towards getting a score, and another one the same way. That was real disappointing. We've seen similar moments early in the season with DJU, but they said something like it was the first time, the way it went down in a long time, to have 3 straight plays that were interceptions or turnovers. 2 interceptions, 1 fumble by Brock there. He just kind of got rattled. So I was fine with the change of the quarterbacks. And if you're watching this, you've probably been on this channel for a while. You've heard one of my biggest gripes about this coaching staff and kind of the way games have been getting called this year. Is Lawrence Toafili and kind of the refusal of this team to lean on him as a running back. And you heard the guys talking about it on the broadcast all night. They want to get him involved in the passing game. But it was 2 separate occasions. It happened like it's happened all year. You hand it to Toafili. He runs it on first down for 10 yards, 11 yards, first down. Then you hit him for a screen for like 17 yards. Then he's off the field for the next 3 drives. Meanwhile, in between, the freshman is getting every carry in the book. They want him to be running back 1. They want that responsibility on his shoulders, the most important role on this offense. Regardless of what they say, it was Trayshawn Ward and it was Trey Benson. That was the most important running back. That's the guy they want to run the ball with. For whatever reason, even though they started the game off in like a 3 wide receiver formation with just 1 running back, and it was Toafili, and it was off to the races, I thought he had to get hurt. That's the only thing you could pass. He had to have got hurt because he kind of had a bad hit there on the sideline. But then in the 4th quarter, with like 8 minutes to go, the game on the line, boom, you start a drive. Toafili on back-to-back runs, same thing, first downs, or one was like 6 yards, and then one was a big first down. You're driving. After that, you hit a pass. They had taken him off the field for whatever reason. Like, I don't understand why they refuse to, when they get a defense in a bad situation, stick in that formation. The quarterbacks keep doing it. They won't do it. They're going to stop and sub. So that's what they did after Toafili runs for 2 big plays. They sub him out for the freshman. They hit a play, a pass play, something happens, then they hand it to the freshman. And like, it's fine. I'm good for Cam to get the ball. I was fired up when he got something going in the 3rd quarter. But he's a true freshman, and here you are at the game on the line, and, he fumbles, he gets hurt, and, but they handed it to him once, Toafili, there on that final drive, but they were just daring us to pass it. They, on that first play, they had everybody on the line. And then it's, 2nd and 24, and then 3rd and 36, and they decline it, and it's 4th and 24. Really tough to watch. But let's talk some positive stuff for a minute. The defense, played their ass off all night. Outside of one, whatever that 40, 50, 60-yard run they gave up there in the fourth quarter, which pretty much sealed it. The defense was playing all night. I'd like to see how many snaps they played because, I mean, they really limited everything Duke wanted to do. It was almost like Duke just said, "Hey, we're not even going to worry about scoring because we know you're going to give the ball to us." They scored 24 points, I think, and 17 of them came off of turnovers in their own end or a pick six. One was a pick six, and two were turnovers, I believe, in their own end where they kicked the field goal and scored a touchdowns. Ricky Goodham says the ref calls were bad. Look, there's just not enough room on this team, like for the errors they make on themselves to blame it on the refs. But yeah, for some reason we never get those calls. Encyclopedia says 23 points. I thought I was off there. Yeah, because it was 2 field goals. But yeah, we get a kick return touchdown. And for Florida State, you can only manage 6 points on offense. It's tough. It's tough when you've got a true freshman wide receiver putting it on seniors, fifth-year seniors in the end zone, and they can't catch it. Oh, man. It's like as bad as everything is on the field, and you can understand like why Mike was just like pulling his hair out. How much more of this are we going to have to take before they're like, okay, maybe we should shrink the rotation at running back and like these seniors keep dropping the ball, put the young guy in there. Let them drop it a few times. I don't even know really how I'm going to feel this hour. It's pretty tough to watch that stuff. Mike made some good calls in the game. The fake punt I thought was perfectly timed. I think if you watched the previous one that Florida State punted on, you could see that they weren't respecting it at all. They didn't have anybody out wide, so that was a really good call there. But I don't know. Defense, you heard about all the NFL scouts there in the defensive line. They really stepped up. They really kind of dominated the game. Linebackers, holy crap. The linebackers were scraping like I've never seen out of this unit. So that was a big time positive. Juice was Johnny on the spot. He was reading a lot of them screens and that side to side stuff. Our realistic Canes fan, Bobby, says Hakeem has been a monumental disappointment. I don't know. That's a bit of an understatement, or understatement. Maybe maybe that was a Freudian slip. I was trying to say maybe that's a bit of an overstatement because he just hasn't been on the field a ton. It's tough. It's like, can a redshirt freshman or a true sophomore, whatever he is he allowed to make a drop or two? Well, no. Well, that fumble by Cam, that drop by Hakeem Williams, it's magnified because your seniors can't. Like Ja'Kai Douglas is the only kind of reliable upperclassman that as far as the receiver core, but he doesn't have the size to do certain things that you need guys to do. He wouldn't have been open necessarily on that post. It was, but you have your senior down there that's 6'3", 210 pounds or whatever he is, in Kentron Portier, a guy that before this season he was never good about getting separation, but he had a pretty good catch rate. I think we're up to 19 drops on the year. It's 5th in the nation, but that 19 drops, I'd be willing to bet the 4 ahead of us probably have like double or triple the pass attempts if I had to guess. Omar Graham Jr. was scraping. He was playing a lot better in this game. We've seen steady improvement after that abominable first game he had. Yeah, tough, man. Tough loss. You drop to 1-6, and Miami's up next. Am I right about that? What's the date? Oh man, we have one more game between Miami. Again, we appreciate you, everybody, joining us, whether you're on the Voice of College Football, the Renegade Report. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We're here for you after every single game with the instant reaction. Oh, man. I can't really, there's not much I can say to much trash talk. Florida State, the special teams dominated the hidden yardage in this game. I mean, they really did a great job on the punts, the kick returns. Um, they have the one bugaboo on special teams. You miss a field goal, and who knows what that changes in the game if you had the 3 extra points there in the fourth quarter with how the thing's called on either side. But Maurice Smith, a guy who throughout his career played through injury, all these things, he was never the best center in the world, but he snapped the ball pretty well. And for whatever reason, um, he didn't have as many of them this game, but you get one in the most inopportune time there, and you miss a field goal, and which a guy who, like we've seen the rest of the game, can hit him 60 yards out. Um, the offensive line has been bad, but they didn't show me anything. I don't know. There was plenty enough plays to be made. All our offense had to do was score one touchdown. Like they literally, there was 2 or 3 plays that would have got you in field goal range and a literal touchdown being dropped. That like it's and again, that offensive line comes out there, gets a big push. Toafili, climbs through. You get in a rhythm, and then they say, "Okay, let's give the defense time. Let's sub out all these people and bring all these people in, and then boom, you're stuffed." It's like I'll never understand it. Anytime they get any momentum, they kill it themselves, and it pains me to see. And knowing how good the passing game is, I know you want to set it up, but it's the same thing. Like the refusal to see what kind of game you're in a rock fight, to kind of just stick to the running game. If you watch what they did, they were averaging no yards per carry the entire night, but they stuck with it. And all of a sudden they busted one for 60 yards in the fourth quarter. And for whatever reason, Lawrence Toafili gets 1 carry for 10 yards. And then between Brock Glenn and Cam, there's another 10 carries before he gets the ball. He said he went back and watched all the plays of every game this season. And when they opened the ball with the running back being Lawrence Toafili, not the tailback, and handing him the ball, I said, okay, maybe they're going to try and lean on the senior who is a Duke killer, who, you did all these things with. We've yet to see the Wildcat, and I hate to beat a dead horse because it's like there's not many things you can do. Like you can kind of see why maybe they didn't want to put Brock in there. But I just don't like what is the need to have a true freshman running back get all the carries and leave a senior on the bench? Like I'm all for Cam. Like I think Cam and Toa could be a perfect smash and dash. But like, okay, sub a tight end out and bring Cam in, so at least you've got 2 running backs. Like even the announcers every game, they're like, "Oh, when Toafili cares, look, the linebackers and everything sucks up, so you can make these plays." I don't know, man. I've been calling for it all year. I don't understand what the deal is, but I also thought this was a good football team along with everybody else. We'll see what happens. Cam's injured now. I'm guessing we're going to see more Singleton, but just for an experiment, I would like to see a game where they just let Toafili give him in a rhythm and continue to give him opportunities at this offensive line and figuring out what his blocking is going to be. But it's like it feels like by the next time he gets in the game, it's a whole new group of offensive linemen. It's like Robert Scott has to come in for Darius Washington for one play, gets a hold. Just dysfunction junction, baby. All the opponents are in the chat having a good time. I appreciate you guys for joining us for about 15 minutes here. If there's any questions you have, any thoughts or concerns, throw them up in the chat. And if it's something that's not profanity ridden or is a good question, I'll throw it up there. Azaria Thomas looked pretty damn good. He's an NFL corner. I have to look back. I'm not going to cast aspersions, but there's a little bit of that wanting to be an NFL corner in college football and not necessarily wanting to tackle on some of these gang tackling plays. Whatever. You can say you're punching the ball out or not. I'd like to see him play a little bit more like 24. 24, again, I have to watch the film, but he closed in the gap a couple times on one particular play on a running back. He saw a gap open up and a 2 deep safety look, and he got there and really popped the running back. So, again, on the positive side of it, this defense really played their butts off all night long. Duke was not going to try our defensive backs many times. They got a few good plays. Yeah, Cyphers made a good plays. The commentary was all on it. If there's one unit on this team that is coached up, it's Patrick Surtain's unit. Because you see all those guys doing the same exact thing. There's been issues where they used to get a hold of the jersey and they would get these pass interference and holding calls, but they figured out something there with that right arm. They get it right there on the lower back of the player, and they're not getting these holding penalties. And as soon as the ball gets there, that's when they grab on and they make the tackle. Just beautiful form by the DBs all night long. You saw Conrad Hussey get in there and play with this kind of passion we were more accustomed to see earlier in the year on special teams, albeit. So tons of positives. Like, if we could just show any kind of pulse whatsoever on offense, you know, that you could win some games. But it's just not there. And then, like, you finally get a turnover to where you're immediately in field goal range on the defense, and somebody makes a lazy, play or whatever happens, and you get a penalty. So boom, that wipes that turnover out. That's the one thing this defense hasn't gotten is pick sixes and turnovers and things a lot. Encyclopedia comes in with the $5 super chat. We appreciate you, brother. Defense put up a great effort. 609 points allowed. For this offense should be. Oh man, I'm not gonna say. I don't know if that'll get us kicked off YouTube, but this offense did not execute. That's for sure. Really mad, but go Knowles as always. Yeah, man. I don't know if I have it in me to be mad anymore this season. Disappointed, disgusted, all the things. It's just really a tough situation because I want to like say maybe I should change my stance on Tony Tokars. Maybe this is all his fault. But I don't know how you're supposed to take a redshirt freshman and a true freshman quarterback and establish a rhythm and grow and start to win football games when they make perfect NFL drop in the bucket catches for redshirt seniors and they can't catch the ball. And it's not one of them, it's all of them. All of them. We were hard on Brock because he's got some ungodly amount of drops, but we're pushing 20 drops now. It's all about the future on the offense, trying to figure out what the hell you can take forward, build up Luke and Brock or whichever one, figure out who's going to be the guy and keep at least one of them. You don't want both of them to leave. Again, yeah, not like I love what I saw of Luke. I can't take anything away from him. He was making some NFL throws out there. He made 2 or 3 throws, like I said earlier. I believe it was 3 of them that were legitimate NFL throws. Okay, he made a few bad decisions. He made a few late throws on some of that quick game and stuff, just like Brock and everybody else has at quarterback this year. But yeah, it's just kind of tough spot to have a true freshman as the fourth quarter was closing in. So again, I'm not going to question a ton of what the Mike Norvell's play calling and things are. My biggest issue with Mike is this refusal to adjust the style of offense he wants to play. Like, I get you want to have a bruiser at the running back position and this third down running back, tailback, whatever you want to call it, in Lawrence Toafili. But Lawrence Toafili is far and away your best damn player on offense. And he is a running back. So let the man play running back and get a rhythm. Like, running backs need rhythm. They have to keep attacking. It's like, if you have this all-time offense like we had last year, yeah, you can mix and match. You can do this. You can try all these different things. You can keep people fresh by rotating and things because you've got an NFL-type offense. You can huddle. You can do all these things. When do you take a step back and say, okay, let's simplify this. We caught them in a formation and the run is working. Let's try that shit again and again and again. And okay, now we can throw behind it out of the same formation, same wide receivers and everything, because they legitimately have to guess pass or run. But no, you don't. You You sub out, and then you bring a true freshman in. It's like, man, it's tough. I see people, RQ305 talking about recruiting rankings and things. When you got a lame duck coaching staff, there's only so much you're going to do with recruiting. The worst part about this isn't that Alex Atkins is the top recruiter on the staff and currently has 4 offensive linemen committed, 3 big time players. So we've been talking about. I know a lot of people are furious. I'm pretty disappointed in the offensive line play, but you got to figure out some way to keep him as an offensive line coach and also bring in an offensive coordinator to take over this operation. So we're going to see how that's all going to work out. Signing day is earlier, which is like, you hate to say this, I don't think it's good for the kids, but that works into your school's favor if you're going through these coaching changes and things like that. So a lot of times it takes longer. So I guarantee you, I don't know what Mike's going to do, but a lot of these schools aren't going to fire coaches until after that, December 4th signing day. They're going to get those financial aid, NIL contracts, whatever they're doing now on the signing day, and then they're going to let the coaches go. But yeah, there's a lot of guys that got to go. Wide receiver, it's unreal how none of our wide receivers can block or catch the football. And the hardest part of it is that they just keep getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And like, okay, I'll take your word for it. I guess the freshmen and the sophomores, like we saw with Jalen Brown, it's like, how come the transfer that's a true sophomore is able to get all the touches? It's like, I don't know. It's just really tough to watch those plays happen as a fan. But again, hats off to the special teams and the defense. Kind of 2/3 of the team showed up today and really balled out and played a damn good game. Again, outside of one play or your offense player, Maury Smith doesn't hit a snap. Oh, I missed a button there. Yeah, really tough. Sorry, guys. Just checking out the chat. Um, Again, if you have any questions or anything that particularly stood out to you, throw it up in the chat. And we're not going to make any score predictions for next week quite yet. We're going to see how the universe lines up between here and Friday, and we'll do our predictions as normal. But this was a really, really tough one. Florida State was a 3-point dog in this game. Vegas was pretty damn close. Really should have been about, if Florida State hits that field goal, they don't cover, but it's pretty damn close. Null Nation says Miami 100, FSU 0. No, come on. It may be like, I don't know, something really bad, but I have a feeling the defense finally gets a touchdown next week versus Miami. It's going to be real hype. It may be the only score we get the entire game, but whether it's a pick six or they pick up a fumble for a touchdown, look for that one hype moment to happen next week. I'm calling it right now. And again, the thing about this offense is and this team, like at any moment, the wide receivers could start catching the ball, and who knows what could happen. Like at any moment, they could start catching the ball. Like, this is really tough. I haven't been at a loss for words doing this in a long time, but this team is really testing my ability on what to talk about. Yeah, I get it for all the Canes fans and Florida fans and everybody in the chat. Yeah, if I was a FSU fan and you guys were 1-6, I'd be probably laughing at your expense as well. It's tough. You can see it. It's frustrating. It's not for a lack of effort. And even like there's been people that have been critical of the strength and conditioning program, and like totally fair. Everybody is up for criticism right now. But when I look at it, I haven't seen us gas out at any point down the year at all. There is it's like the token big run that we give up in the fourth quarter, but that's just like a mental break of being put on the field over and over and over and over again. We did better about that. I think they even mentioned it on the broadcast. Like, we didn't have a ton of just 3-and-outs early on and even late in the game. We were getting first downs and taking a bit of clock off, so we did at least that much to help the defense. And also, as I said earlier, the special teams at the hidden yardage was amazing. We didn't put the defense in a ton of terrible positions except for the turnovers. And you just get them back to back to back, and it's so debilitating. Um, yeah, the Florida State defense, I feel like, was far and away the best unit on the field tonight. There was not a unit close to FSU's defense. Uh, Maybe special teams, I guess, but that's special teams. Like, there was nothing Duke did on offense or defense that was, to the level of FSU's defense. They have one defensive end that was pretty unstoppable. He might have been the best player out there. But as far as team defense, Florida State's defense played amazing all night. You take away that one big run. But just the offense is just so bad. So bad. Nope Nation. Yeah, this year that's it. Chad Kinsler says Norvell is mentally defeated. Yeah, he is. You can see it. And you can see him catch himself realizing the camera's there. He wanted to go down to his knees a couple times, go down to the ground on some of these plays. I can challenge the game planning, and I think there really something is there with like shrinking rotations and just running like a 2-minute offense, or at least just keeping the same people on the field unless somebody gets hurt. But a lot of this shit Mike's calling is working. It's working perfectly. But the true freshman fumbles, or the senior can't catch, or the other senior can't catch, or the best recruit you've had at wide receiver in the past decade can't catch. So it's really tough. Some good plays are made. That defense from Duke, yeah, they beat up the offensive line pretty good, but still at the same time, we should have scored at least 20 points on offense. At least 20 points, 21 points. But you get 6. Appreciate you, your Ral there. RQ305 in Category 5. Please don't forget to hit click the like button. You're both always here. Wouldn't be too much to also do that kind gesture. I know you guys are hitting the like button. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They got to be hitting the like button as much as they come through. They certainly hit the comment section. That's for sure. A lot of Canes in here. A lot of Canes in here having fun. I feel you guys. But holy crap. If y'all lose to us next week, we're going to do 100,000 views on the post-game show. God, man. I'm going to start. That's going to be part of my prayer. My prayers all week. Prayers continue to go out to the residents of North Carolina that were, had their entire world kind of obliterated with the hurricanes. That'll be on there, but I'm going to continue to pray for the rivalry gods to descend from heaven and help. Like, if you've ever seen angels in the outfield, that's what I need. I need the angels in the outfield to come through and possess Hakeem Williams, possess Portier, because they're going to put him in again, possess Malik Benson, and just grab those hands. That's what I need. I need angels in the outfield to come pick these wide receivers up and lift them out of their yips or whatever the hell it is. Look, this is a line we use on Miami every year. And okay, you can say it for 1 year ever. RQ305, FSU Super Bowl is October 26th. That's fine. It's still the only game you'll sell out at home all year. You freaking sorry jokers. And we'll see. We'll see if y'all go 13-0. We'll see if y'all even get 11. We'll see. Because I get it, y'all are hyped, but you know, it is what it is. It's still been 20 years since y'all did what we did last year. Pittsburgh may, yeah. We'll see how they do tomorrow. They're still undefeated. Clemson has the big loss to Georgia to start the year, but they're also undefeated in conference play. So yeah, we're gonna see. Talked about this on the Wednesday show. It's going to be tough for whoever loses the ACC championship to get into this 12-team playoff. We'll see what happens, the next couple of weeks with Miami's ranking, but they got us 1-5 next week. This Louisville game is really, really important. Definitely got to be undefeated if you're going to have a chance to lose the ACC championship and get in. But even then, I don't know. Where are they going to have, a one-loss ACC champion? I don't know. It's tough. The way the polls lean towards the SEC and the Big Ten and how many teams they have over there, there's such a bigger sample set for those guys to decide, oh, this product over here is a cut above. And look at these close games they've played. And this isn't me knocking Miami. I'm glad for y'all. I'm just telling y'all, as a Florida State fan, I've heard it every year. And the fact they already have 2 one-loss teams ahead of y'all, I could see heartbreak, but hopefully it comes from us. If not, Godspeed to y'all. I wouldn't want y'all to get cheated out of it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, just like Florida State got left out undefeated, it would not surprise me one bit for a one-loss ACC team to be left out in favor for a 2 or 3 loss SEC or Big Ten team. Say you've got 2 losses as an SEC team and there's Georgia and Alabama. And you look at an ACC team that dropped one to Virginia Tech or whoever the case may be down the road. You drop one to 1-5 Florida State. We'll see. But yeah, anyways. A lot of FSU Miami stuff going on in the chat. I'm down to talk about anything about FSU football at this point. It's tough. I'm ready. I get the basketball team. Look out. We may have a national title basketball team this year, guys, because we were really good at basketball back in 2019, 2020 when we sucked at football. And now it has turned around, boys. Everything we've talked about to this point about Mike Norvell not being on the hot seat and everything, you go 1-11. I don't know. This whole thing might get blown up. I don't know. I really don't know at this point. There was a lot of big talk about players only practices and guys being more fired up, and I believe it. But obviously the young wide receivers are either just terrible or I don't know, because they're trusting these seniors who just have not caught the ball all year long. And you can't even count Hakeem as a young guy because he's somebody that they had pegged as a starter and they've trusted him. Anytime he's been healthy, he's been on the field. So yeah, it's hard to believe, a true freshman would be ready. The tight ends didn't have their big games like they had. Landon Thomas, I believe, maybe had one drop. Can't remember how great of a ball that was. I believe it was a drop, but yeah, you're not going to win games if you can't catch the ball. It's not. When you watch us play, it's not complete dysfunction sometimes, like you remember in the Willie Taggart years where it's like 3 wide receivers in one spot and the offensive lineman didn't even touch him. The D lineman just came through. No, you're seeing guys be in position to make plays. They're just getting beat or inconsistent at best. You're seeing good offensive plays getting called, guys being in the right spot, and just not catching the ball. Earlier in the season, it was not tackling. The DBs, the best coach unit on the team, they weren't communicating with the linebackers. There was something going on there, something with the banjo coverage. That's been cleaned up. But on the offense, just the basics of catching the ball and again, I hate to keep bringing up the announcers because usually announcers drive me nuts, but it's down to just preschool level breaking down football when you watch this team. It's Hakeem Williams looking up for the safeties or the DBs every time the ball gets to him. It's stupid plays, punching a guy or pushing a guy when you're all the way off, almost off the white line out of bounds. Like, man, and it's at the most inopportune times. I tweeted like that whole 3 turnover stretch was like it was a devastating chain of events. And then somehow they survived it, and the defense gave them chance after chance after chance. But you just can't cash in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The offensive line did not play great. There was a lot of breakdowns and things of that nature. Um, but there was also a lot of plays that could have been touchdowns if you just make them. Um, their defensive line didn't. Their defense overall didn't dominate this game as much as FSU's did. I mean, it was just guys dropping passes. Um, yeah, that Louisville Miami game, that'll be a fun one to watch. That's at noon on ABC. I'll definitely have to watch that one in the morning. Um, I can be a Louisville fan for one day. Um, it would be nice to get some of these Canes fans knocked off a peg or knocked down a peg, but not much you can say, man. Not much you can say. We can start talking about what coaches need to go and this and that, but kind of a waste of time. You've all heard it. I think we all know who needs to go. This offense has to be rebuilt. Um, 2 or 3 coaches, I think, like 1 or 2 coaches, I'll say, off the defense. You can stand to lose to fix recruiting, slide some people around there, maybe move Papuchis to special teams only, get another D line coach in here, uh, maybe make an upgrade at linebacker coach. We'll see. But the offensive staff, it's getting really tough. Quarterbacks coach, I don't know. His guys, if you're a coach, it's hard for a guy to gain confidence. Like, you can hit as many home runs as you want in the batting cage. It's the plays in the game. It's the hits you get in the game, the home runs in the game that, that's what makes a player when the lights come on. So when the lights come on and these quarterbacks are hitting these receivers, hitting these deep throws and things of that nature, and the guys are dropping it. Psychologically, it's hard to gain that confidence. And when you make these big plays, you get to run down the field and you have a sudden change, and that gains confidence. That opens things up. But yeah, there's not many people you would not rather be than Mike Norvell in the coaching industry right now. He's got it pretty rough, but it's hard, man. It's hard to say he's cooked or this or that again, because the guys are out there. They're in position to make plays. I think he trusted his staff too much. I don't know. I mean, it's getting harder and harder to kind of believe in anything at this point. Um, but but yeah, I know this is going pretty dark. I don't know what the hell to talk about, guys. It's tough. Canes fans talking about how they have the lead in national championships. That's like the biggest cope. Like, you're undefeated right now, and you're using that cope in the chat. That's like, you've been in how long? You've been in the ACC all these years. Florida State has all these ACC titles, national championship, been to the playoff, all these things. Y'all have won 10 games once in 20 years. And, well, why couldn't FSU catch up? Come on, man. FSU has national titles in 93, 99, 2013. That's an whole era of college football. You just win. You should have been in the playoff last year. We'll never know what last year could have done. They're like, yeah, we suck this year, but come on, man. How many times has Miami been 6-1, 5-0, 7-0, and then played a team and lost, and then all of a sudden it all goes down the drain? I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I'm just reminding you, like, come on, man. Come on. You can't act like you've been there before because you haven't been there before. You have not won the ACC in 20 years. So say what you want about FSU sucking and losing to these teams and everything, but hell, at least they sold out to go undefeated one time last year. Yeah. Who do y'all got, Canes fans? What do y'all got left on the schedule? I feel like we really let y'all off the hook. Y'all better go undefeated. Y'all have any tough games left? Y'all don't play Clemson, do y'all? Y'all won't see them till the ACC championship. Enjoy it, fellas. That's all I can say. Y'all better win the ACC this year, because if you don't, what can I say? We're 1-6. We can't say shit. How about Omar Graham Jr. tonight, boys? He was laying the wood all night. Talk about a guy who took heat from everyone, myself included. That first game, he had like, was it 40-something snaps and didn't record a stat at linebacker? It seemed like he chose wrong on every play, like he had his plays crisscrossed or something. What a role reversal. Tonight, he was flying around and just really popping guys. Same thing with Cryer. Somebody asked me if Blake was hurt. Yeah, I don't know. Was I just not? It's hard on the first watch through on these games, man. But it doesn't seem like I seen 20 out there and I didn't pay attention to Twitter. I was kind of just zoned in on watching it, praying that we would win. Guys, I wanted us to win this game so bad. I wanted to come on here and just be so positive and ignore all the negative and get hyped for next week's game against Miami, but it just wasn't in the cards. It was not in the cards. Florida State now 22-1 against the Duke Blue Devils. Yeah, that'll be a good one to watch if you're an FSU fan, to try and put some bad juju on those guys. Noon against Louisville. The Canes, I guess that, Bobby, is that y'all's toughest game besides us as Louisville? Who else y'all have on that schedule? Pretty clean run to the ACC championship game. It'll be interesting to see who makes it there out of Pitt and Clemson, which I don't know. There is the off chance. Like, if Miami did drop a game, like, is Pitt going to go undefeated? Is Pitt on y'all's schedule? Because shit, I mean, there's a chance there could be 3 undefeated. No, one of them must have to play. Clemson must have to play Pitt, or Miami must play Pitt, something like that. But yeah, there's kind of a 3-team race there. Be interesting. I haven't watched Pitt play a single game all year. Yeah, we want y'all to lose, Galaxy King. What the hell you think this is? We're 1-6. Yeah, we want y'all to lose. Y'all, you're giving me something else to talk about by coming in here and talking about this stuff. So yeah, I want y'all to lose. I want y'all to lose every game y'all play the rest of the year, because this is y'all's year. Y'all got the dude at quarterback. Y'all got the guys that are about to go in the draft. If y'all don't cash in, it would be amazing. It would be amazing, because then we get a whole off season to try to get shit right, get a new portal class in here, put things together, mash them together, and see what happens next year. What, Bobby? I'm just saying. But it seems like maybe I don't know. It is what it is. Again, if you whether you're watching on the Voice of College Football or the Renegade Report, please hit that like and subscribe. We're here after every game. the FSU Voice of College Football post-game show. Kind of an instant reaction. As soon as the game ends, if it's a blowout, sometimes we'll get started in the fourth quarter. Oh, I I can't tell you guys how hard I'm sitting there praying, watching that football game so I can go on here and talk about a win. It's tough when you make FSU content, you love the team, you love doing it. It's like, it doesn't feel good to get up here and trash your team. It's like, I try to play the good cop on the regular show as best I can, but it is what it is at this point. It's like all we can do is just complain. You can try to point at the positives again. The defense has really found itself and has kind of evolved over the year into I'd say they're probably a top 30, top 25 defense at this point. But the offense is like the worst in the country. It's just, there's pieces of it that's there. Like, you've got a running back in Toafili that's pretty damn good and one of the better freshmen in the country in Cam. You've got some young tight ends. You've got some quarterbacks with talent, some wide receivers that can get open, but they just can't catch. And the offensive line, I'll have to watch it back again. I'm not sure how the guards did. Some of the stunts and things they did kind of messed with them, but you're not looking for this offensive line and this offense to go out there and dominate and be whoever. But 14 points, 17 points, is that too much to ask from the offense? 14 points, 15 points. RQ305 says, George, how y'all gonna build being ranked 30 in recruiting and money invested in Norvell and lawsuits? How y'all gonna spend the portal? That's not like, those things are all totally unrelated. As far as money, the money that Norvell gets paid isn't the same money that goes to NIL, and all that stuff's evolving. Yeah, FSU has lawsuits, but they also have $250 million set aside. $500 million in projects get going on right now between the football only facility and the stadium. Like, they're going to find $20 million, $20 million, whatever it is for the NIL. That's going to happen. And we've seen the staff do pretty damn well in the portal. I also think it's pretty clear the majority of the talent on this team has come from the 23 and 24 recruiting classes. It's the seniors and the redshirt juniors. That's who's letting us down. There's some good ones on the defense again. So you're going to have to figure out some things there on the defense. You're going to have to hit in the portal again. It's not going to be great. It's not going to be through the roof. But no, you can definitely get some players in the portal and salvage, 15, 20 guys that you can really work with and build forward this year. You definitely can. This was a monster of a rebuilding year that, in hindsight, everybody, myself included, took for granted. You lost 10 guys in the draft, 2 more to free agent contracts that have made their teams when healthy. Those 10 guys didn't get recruited in 1 year. They were a guy like Jordan Travis, part of the 2019 portal class. I believe Jerry Jones and Fabian Lovett were 19 or 20 portal class. Then you got the 21 portal class. I can't remember who all came in there that remained, but then you had the 22 portal class with Johnny Wilson, Trey Benson, and then you had the 23 class with Fisk. So yeah, you had a buildup. You had 4 or 5 years of portal classes that came together, and everybody hit their peak and left together. Jerry Jones was hated here his first couple years. So could Earl Little still become a player? Could Jalen Brown get it together? Can they build? Sure. There's going to have to be a big change. They have to bring in some hot offensive coaches, and you're going to have that new coach smell. So, like, next year, with what happened this year, you're not looking to compete for an ACC championship, you're looking to do what you did in 2022 and get back to win 8, 9, 10 wins again. And if you can get that new coach smell, you can bring in the go-go offense guy from UNLV. You can bring him in here, make that happen. Then yeah, you could possibly have one of these top 5, top 10 recruiting classes, and really do something moving forward. Really put something together to compete the next year. It sucks. It is what it is. It's not what you were hoping for, but that's where you're at. You got to kind of live in the reality you're in. There's no magic solution. Bobby talking about worrying about flips and kids not wanting to transfer here. No, we didn't have any problem getting kids to transfer here, back in when we, in 21 or 20 or anything like that. Kids see an opportunity to come to Florida State. Um, it's You just got to pay the right guys. We didn't pay the right guys this year. Um, they did not get it done in high school recruiting early due to COVID, and then all these different excuses. It took them till 23 to 24 to start recruiting at a decent level, and then even compartmentalized inside of those 23 and 24 classes. They did not do a great job at O line and defensive line, and they really looked forward to this class that was going to be stacked on offensive line and defensive line. And they were going to have this big class, but you never got there. You lost too many guys in the draft and graduation, and yeah, your offensive line. That's the biggest part of it. I get why people are so upset about it. I mean, 13 something thousand snaps on the offensive line. I mean, penalties after bad snaps, after just jailbreaks. Like, you should be able to. These aren't crazy teams we're playing. We haven't had a crazy, insane schedule. Um, but make no mistake, Duke is a pretty good ball club. Um, I don't know. How do you rate it? Of the 6 losses, it's probably one of the better games that we've played all year. But within that, I don't know. We're getting close to an hour, thank God. I don't know what else to talk about, guys. We do an hour, so we're going for an hour, but tough stuff, guys. Tell them, Encyclopedia. All Canes Conference. Somebody's going to make the All Canes Conference T-shirt if y'all win it this year. I just hope we can keep that joke going. Yes, 0 ACC titles. It would be nice if Miami left the conference due to conference realignment without ever winning. That would be amazing. I don't know about Bama. That's what I thought earlier in the year, but we'll see what happens with Bama after this year. We don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I'm holding on to that Cal game, baby. We held Cal to no kind of point. We put up all kind of points on y'all Miami Hurricanes, and maybe it'll just be the perfect matchup for you Canes. Is this inept Florida State team? Y'all's secondary has been food all year, right? Maybe this can be the one secondary that doesn't scare our wide receivers into alligator arm and everything. Maybe they're not worried about that Kane secondary. Um, Man, that would be big. That would be the biggest spoiler of all spoilers. Um, if Florida State can beat Miami next week, but yeah, guys, Brian Kelly went 4-8. James Franklin was terrible in 2020. There's tons of examples of guys that Harbaugh wasn't anywhere near as bad as us, or even Brian Kelly in year 5 or 6 or whatever it was. But there's a lot of these coaches that hit a wall with their assistants and being stuck in their ways, and then they make big time staff changes and they come back. I continue to say Mike Norvell is going to get that opportunity, but these conversations they get tougher and tougher every week. I can't lie, it's getting tough. Whatever, guys. Yeah, it'll definitely play y'all tough. I definitely wouldn't pick us against y'all, but just hopefully it can stay competitive and be a good game. Like y'all get up 20, 30 points. I could see the guys somewhat packing it in or start taking cheap shots and going for interceptions and things. But you never know. It's a rivalry game. There's been plenty of years where I thought Florida State was 3 times better than y'all, and y'all would make it a close game and have my ass puckered up. So we'll see. Hopefully, we can do to y'all what y'all did to several Florida State teams that were on kind of title track. There's several ACC championship FSU teams, even a playoff team in 2014 that probably should have blew a Miami squad out, but damn near lost it. So um, maybe we can tie into some of that, but whatever. Well, you gonna spot me 30 points? I'll take that bet. I mean, if you feel like that, I'll take that bet. I'll take the 30-point bet, but that's the only bet I'll take. That's it. You'll spot me 30 points, I'll take the bet. But no, uh, I wouldn't be shocked if y'all beat us by 30. But I wouldn't pick that either. So we'll see. These games are pretty short, especially once a team really gets ahead like that. Yeah. Once like even if y'all were to blow us out, we'll see. I hope I'm not jinxing us. So y'all definitely beat us by 30, 40 points. We'll see. We shall see. But yeah, I'll take the 30-point spread. I don't think anybody can take that. But guys, we're close enough to an hour. It's been a ton of fun. No, it hasn't. It was tough, but we appreciate you guys living with us here. Again, it's the FSU Voice of College Football post-game show. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe right here. Also over at the Renegade Report. Um, we'll be back either tomorrow or Monday with the Renegade Roast. Tuesdays and Fridays as we get better. Get ready. I can't quit burping. My body's telling me to end this thing. As we get ready for Miami Hate Week, not a ton of not a ton on it this year with us being 1-6 and all, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with Miami Louisville next week or tomorrow night, and then we'll see y'all back here next week. Go Noles.